Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
We're tracking a UK alert of shots fired near campus.
Several shootings happened throughout the city of Lexington over the weekend, leaving many folks on edge.
We take a look at a measure on the November ballot that could merge two Estill County towns.
WKYT News at 11 starts now. We begin tonight with a breaking news alert near UK's campus. Good evening, I'm Kristen Kennedy. About an hour ago, the University of Kentucky sent out an alert warning of shots fired on campus in the Kerwin-Blanding complex area. Right now, you're taking a live look at UK's campus. We're told 3 shots were fired there. Police and K-9 units are searching the area for shooters. UK is advising students to avoid that area and to seek shelter immediately. Now we're going to continue to track a wave of violence in Lexington. 4 shootings in less than 48 hours. That latest shooting happened this morning when police say gunfire erupted at a college party on Georgetown Road, injuring a Bluegrass Community and Technical College student, damaging 4 cars. But as WKYT's Jordan Valines tells us in our top story at 11, Lexington police are handing the investigation over to their homicide unit.
This past weekend alone, several people have had to be taken here to UK hospital to be treated for gunshot wounds. And on Friday night, even one of the victims was listed in critical condition. The victim, who suffered critical injuries, was shot in the neck on Bainbridge Court around 8 Friday, when we're told an argument between 2 men led to shots being fired. A short time later, Lexington police responded to a liquor store on Charles Avenue, where they say a man had been shot in the back and a vehicle had been sprayed with bullets. Few hours after that, around 3 a.m. Saturday morning, police records show that 21-year-old Mandel Price was shot in the abdomen near Jazzy G's on Old Georgetown Street. The 4th shooting incident happened early Sunday morning. We're told hundreds of college students were partying at the Genesis Center on Georgetown Road when police say 2 gunmen opened fire, shooting about 15 times and hitting several nearby vehicles.
I am livid. I'm a single parent, and then let my daughter use my car to come out here and have a good time, and then this is what happens to innocent people.
Lexington police tell us that they've now handed these cases over to the robbery homicide unit. In Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Investigators have not yet determined if those shootings are connected. Police responded to another call earlier this evening about shots fired. Police tell us that neighbors called saying they heard gunshots over on Howard Street. That's near Douglas Park. And when police arrived, they say they found 8 shell casings, but no victim or shooter. A 2-day search for a missing kayaker in Floyd County ended this afternoon. Around 1 today, rescue crews tell us they recovered the body of Miller Boyd. Police say Boyd went missing yesterday while on a kayak trip. At the time, search crews were only able to find his kayak and his cigarettes. K-9 units joined in the 2-day search. Rescue crews encourage people to be cautious when exploring outdoor areas.
Making sure that you're aware of your surroundings and that you know what you are, comfortable doing.
An official cause of death will be determined after the coroner performs an autopsy. A Corbin woman was indicted on charges she intentionally exposed several people to hepatitis C at a hospital. Police arrested 29-year-old Tiffany Myers earlier this month after she forcefully removed an IV unit from her arm at Knox County Hospital, knowing she suffers from hepatitis C. Police say she purposefully slung her infected blood across the room, potentially exposing officers and medical personnel. One nurse reported having blood land in her eye. 2 central Kentucky towns could soon become one. A referendum on the ballot in Estill County proposes merging both Irvin and Ravenna. And as Sam Smith tells us, the future of these 2 towns is in the hands of voters.
Irvin and Ravenna share a border. They share Kentucky 52. They could also share much more because they could be one town, which leaders say will benefit everyone.
I have pros and cons. It can be good one way, and then I really don't know, so it's pros and cons.
Ravenna Mayor Estine Tipton says it'll be up to the residents of each town to decide what happens.
So however how it goes, that's what it'll be.
This topic has come up before, but Mayor Tipton says this is the first time the issue made it on the ballot. She says this time around, the idea started in Irvin city leadership last year. In the following months, both Irvin and Ravenna leaders worked together to draw up the measure. If the measure is approved, Ravenna will get a new name and be called Irvin, which I'm told may be a reason the measure won't pass.
The railroad is how Ravenna became a town, and they want their town to still be Ravenna. Now that's what everybody keeps telling me, so.
Details of the potential merger still need to be figured out. It's something both sides are waiting to take care of, because if the voters in both towns approve the merger, the governments in each town will continue to operate independently for about a year. In that time, they'll figure out what changes residents will experience while in the new Irvin. In Estill County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
City leaders say they have a good working relationship right now that will continue no matter what happens on the November ballot. We had another warm autumn day to round out the first full weekend of fall. Some areas may see some showers tonight, though. Meteorologist Jim Caldwell has more on the changes we can expect for the end of our work week. Jim?
Yeah, it's a pretty action-packed week. We get a nice little spike in temperatures again to put us right around 80 degrees or so area-wide. And then a big change. Out there tonight, though, it's Defender tracking a few showers, and mainly a lot of that activity showing up exactly where we were talking about. We would see it out in eastern Kentucky, right along the Kentucky-Virginia state line. There you see some of those very light showers, and then a few that try to also trickle down into southern parts of the Commonwealth as well. Not a big deal. So here's an up-close personal view. You can see some out toward McKee there, Jackson County, back through Clay County as well, Lee, Owsley, maybe a sprinkle or two. And you can see the flow of the moisture during the past few hours, all trying to really push it more so through that area, and some of the thicker cloud cover. It's been hanging out there throughout the entire day as well. Look at our forecast for you. We'll break it all down looking at the early morning hours out the door around 60 degrees. Pleasant start to the morning, mainly on the dry side. We'll have the clouds around. I think we max out around 78 as you head to the house tomorrow with, again, a stray chance of a shower. Better chances out into eastern Kentucky. Big changes are coming. I'll show you some of those coming up here in just a few minutes.
For several weeks, people across Corbin prayed for a newborn's health. They rallied around little Ozzy and his family, and now the congregation is building a playground bearing his name. Ozzy Fakowski was born with congenital heart disease. In June, he lost his fight against it. And last week, the family's pastor announced plans to memorialize Ozzy at their church. They're building a playground in his honor right behind the building.
And anybody that sees this playground, anybody that plays on it, that's a part of it, they're going to remember what Ozzy represented.
The Children's Heart Foundation says congenital heart disorders are the #1 birth defect in the United States. If you'd like to donate to Ozzy's Play Place, you'll find a link in the story on our website, WKYT.com. Ending hunger was the goal for dozens who showed up to the Hunger Walk in Lexington this afternoon. Walkers took a 3-mile stroll through the historic East End of Lexington. Some of the money raised today will support the global hunger fighting efforts of the Church World Service. 25% of the funds will go to God's Pantry Food Bank.
I think we all have really good lives here in the United States, and most of us, and we don't really understand what's going on in the world, and this way it kind of brings that awareness to a lot more people.
Last year, God's Pantry was able to provide 25,000 meals with donations received from last year's Hunger Walk. Still to come on WKYT, a Lexington church celebrated a major milestone today. We'll visit one of the oldest churches in town.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell and First Alert Defender.
Pretty pleasant night out there for a lot of us. Just a lot more cloud cover streaming through the skies through the afternoon and evening and even into the nighttime here. We look outside with some of our temperatures. We're running at some pretty mild levels. We're running in the mid and upper 60s throughout the entire area. London 65, 68 Richmond, so very, very comfortable stuff. Coming our way tomorrow, we'll probably get up to around 80 degrees for daytime highs. Some folks will actually touch it and maybe go beyond that a little bit. We look at Defender, and a few showers have actually popped up out there tonight. Better coverage out in eastern Kentucky, and it's very light rain at best for those folks. A few more might try to develop as we work through the overnight. We'll look from London back towards Somerset into McKee, and even out into southern parts of Perry County and right around Harlan, seeing some of those sprinkles maybe at best in some cases out there. Clouds, that's been the bigger issue throughout the entire day today, and especially where you see these brighter whites. They were hanging out in eastern parts of Kentucky throughout most of the day today. There you see, of course, the thinning of the clouds here in central Kentucky, at least tonight. We go hour by hour through the overnight period, and there you see a little bump in the moisture. It starts to get a little more active during the afternoon tomorrow with a few more showers. Now, this does not mean that the coverage is going to look exactly like that. What it's telling us is we could certainly see a scattering or an isolated chance of a shower or two out there tomorrow afternoon, and that lingers into the first part of the night, and then things will start to calm down for us. At least for a couple of days, we'll have very nice stuff. Daytime highs around 80 degrees or so, some really good looking days before the change starts to happen. Here's part of it. You see that frontal boundary? It looks like it's going to make a dead run right at us. It doesn't, though. What happens is it puts the brakes on because we've got another more potent system that's going to be right behind it, and it starts to shift back toward the north, allowing that warmer air to spill in here for Wednesday, even into your Thursday, before that front comes calling later on. What that's going to do for us as we look from your Tuesday and beyond is it's going to bring some significantly cooler air across the country. You're looking now at Friday. It starts to really bear down on the area, bringing us good chances of showers and thunderstorms. Sweeps completely through Kentucky. There you see even the coldest air very close to us, where they might even be talking about some 30s widespread. Our temperatures around here, they're going to tumble late this week. Highs could drop maybe around 20 degrees as we make this transition, around 80-ish or so, all the way down into the 60s. You'll see that here with our 7-day forecast. We go beyond Wednesday. That's when the changes start to happen. Showers arrive late in the day on a windy Thursday, it looks like, as that system's wound up and rolls through here. Those winds will continue howling across the area Friday and into your Saturday. The thing about it is, once we get to Saturday, those winds are going to be tough. It's going to make it feel a whole lot worse outside. It's going to have that raw, cool, chilly feeling to the air. So hold on tight.
You're only saying it's going to be bad because we're not used to that cold.
That's right. You know, if this happened in December, we were talking about 60s, we'd be excited, you know, tickled to death.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. We're not used to it just yet.
All right. Thank you, Jim. A Lexington church celebrated its 225th birthday today. Worshippers at the First United Methodist Church celebrated the major milestone. The church was one of the first Methodist churches in the United States.
What distinguishes us over the centuries is the churches that we have started and the people who have been called into ministry out of our pews. We are the mother church for over 8 other Methodist churches. 5 of our ministers have gone on to be elected as bishops in the Methodist Church.
Mayor Jim Gray also attended the service and honored the church. A large portion of the Ohio River turned bright yellow this afternoon, and the culprits behind the color change say it was all for a good cause. Thousands of rubber ducks floated down the river for the 11th annual Kentucky Derby. Every dollar raised goes directly to a nonprofit group in Louisville that supports people with physical and developmental disabilities.
We provide vocational education and socialization activities and programs and place them in jobs in the community to work and on site with the bulk mailing service. We're just trying to be there to be all that we can be for the folks who are overlooked and underserved.
Organizers tried to sell a total 23,000 ducks for the Derby. Still to come on WKYT, President Obama sits down with 60 Minutes to talk ISIS and his plans to defeat the terrorist group. President Obama says military and political solutions are needed to defeat Islamic militants in Iraq and Syria. The president spoke during a candid interview that aired exclusively on CBS tonight. Omar Villafranca has the story.
On 60 Minutes Sunday, President Obama acknowledged the U.S. misjudged the threat from ISIS.
I think our head of the intelligence community, Jim Clapper, has acknowledged that I think they underestimated what had been taking place in Syria.
In Iraq, the president also said U.S. intelligence overestimated the ability and the will of the Iraqi army to take on Islamic militants. He blames Iraq's former prime minister for weakening the military.
The Prime Minister, Maliki, was much more interested in consolidating his Shia base and very suspicious of the Sunnis and the Kurds, who make up the other 2/3 of the country.
To defeat ISIS, the president says a competent ground force must battle the militants, but he has ruled out the use of American troops. House Speaker John Boehner believes U.S. forces may eventually have to hit the ground.
We have no choice. These are barbarians. They intend to kill us. And if we don't destroy them first, we're going to pay the price.
There are 1,600 American advisors and special operation troops in Iraq. A U.S.-led coalition has been pounding ISIS targets in Iraq and Syria from the air. Omar Villafranca, CBS News.
This weekend, 2 British fighter jets flew their first coalition mission. St. Louis County Police are investigating the shooting of an off-duty officer from the St. Louis City Police Department. This morning, investigators say an officer was driving his personal car on the interstate when someone inside a passing car shot at him. They hit the officer's car several times. Police say the officer only suffered minor injuries from breaking glass. We're told he wasn't wearing his uniform shirt, just his uniform pants. Investigators are unclear if this shooting was random violence or if the shooter targeted the officer. The Federal Aviation Administration says it's replacing the entire central computer network at a Chicago area control center where fire brought the city's 2 international airports to a halt Friday. The agency says it's also improving direct communications between other facilities. Disruptions continue at both Chicago airports and airports across the country. Bluegrass Airport in Lexington is still seeing delays and cancellations on flights in and out of O'Hare. This weekend, Anderson County families celebrated what makes one of their towns so famous. People gathered in Lawrenceburg, the burgoo capital of the world, to get a taste of the Kentucky favorite. Burgoo is a stew made with vegetables and meat similar to chili. For the past 4 years, Jesse Samford has won the title for the best burgoo in town.
I got 17 different spices in it, and I've been making this since 1989. And I've never tasted, I don't never taste it when I cook it. I can smell of it, but I never taste it.
If you want to enter the Burgoo Cook-Off next year or just want more information on the festival, visit our website, WKYT.com. Lee K's in next with sports. Lee K, you like burgoo?
Yeah, you know this. I'm not a very good cook, but I'm certainly a great eater. I could use some about now. And Mark Stoops and the Wildcats, well, they could use a win, and they got one over the weekend over Vandy. We'll hear from the Wildcats coming up next. And several former Wildcats make big plays on Sunday. Week 4 NFL highlights are next in sports. Mark Stoops describes Saturday's win as a thing of beauty for a defensive guy. In a game where the UK offense struggled to find some rhythm, the Bad Boys defense stepped up to give Kentucky its first SEC win in 18 tries. The Wildcats limiting Vandy to 139 total yards while coming up with 3 interceptions. Mark Stoops says he expects that kind of performance from his defense.
We expect them to play well. You know, we have a chance to be good in all phases. We know we're not overwhelmingly great in any phase, but if we play together and all sides play to our capabilities, we have a chance to win a lot of games. If we don't, then we won't. You know, that's like a lot of teams. So we have to put it together.
Well, for the first time since arriving at Kentucky, Stoops jogged to midfield, a winner in the SEC. The longest active losing streak in the conference of 17 games, of course, is no more. And the players say that going into the game against Vandy, they expected it to end.
It was our game plan the whole time, and we came and fought it out and came out with the dub, so it went as planned.
I cherish this win right now. First SEC win for Coach Stoops. You know, I'm proud of him. And go out there, South Carolina, you know, prepare, try to get another one.
You heard Blake say it. South Carolina, the old ball coach, come to Commonwealth this Saturday. The unranked Gamecocks, who fell out of the AP Top 25 today after losing to Missouri. It'll be under the lights at Commonwealth Stadium. Kickoff at 7:30 on the SEC Network. Week 4 in the NFL, and the Bengals are one of 6 teams enjoying a bye week. Cincinnati, the only team in the AFC unbeaten. Meanwhile, our neighbors to the north and south meeting up in Indy. The Colts hosting the Titans. In the first, Andrew Luck hooks up with Dwayne Allen for the 7-yard touchdown. The Colts lead 14-0 just before the half. Colts on the move. This time, Luck is unlucky and intercepted by former Wildcat Wesley Woodyard. Woodyard led the Titans with 9 tackles, 6 of them solo in the game. But the Indy offense was too much for the Titans defense. Luck here finds his old buddy Reggie Wayne and the old man still got it. 119 yards for Wayne, and the Colts pick up the 41-17 win. Randall Cobb and the Green Bay Packers visiting the Bears, and it was a big day for the former Wildcat. Just before the half, with the Packers down by a field goal, Aaron Rodgers finds Cobb for the 22-yard touchdown to give Green Bay the lead heading into the locker room. Move to the fourth quarter now. Packers on top 31-17, and it's that same combination. Rodgers to Cobb. Randall Cobb finishes with 7 catches for 113 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the Packers 38-17 win over the Bears.
We were able to make plays. We were able to move the ball, pick up first down, stay on the field. That's big. Whenever you can move the ball and put points on the board, and your defense is giving you the ball, it makes it a lot easier.
And a good one between the Eagles and the 49ers in the third quarter. Colin Kaepernick will find Stevie Johnson for the touchdown. Watch the nice footwork by Johnson to bring the Niners within 1. The first touchdown for the former Wildcat in San Francisco, and the Niners hold on to beat the Eagles 26-21. The second half of the season has been forgettable for the Reds, but a chance to spoil the divisional race for the Pirates and make history in the final game of this season. Johnny Cueto looking for his 20th win of the season. In the top of the 6th, tied at 1, Cueto strikes out Andrew McCutchen, swinging, one of Cueto's 7 strikeouts on the day. Bottom of the 8th, the runner on third, 1 out. Cueto helping out his own cause. It's a single up the middle for off Tony Watson to score the go-ahead run, and the Reds win the final game of the year, 4-1. Cueto becomes the Reds' first 20-game winner since Danny Jackson back in 1988, and he's got a Gatorade bath to prove it. And Derek Jeter playing the final game of his illustrious baseball career today at the Red Sox. They honored their respective rival accordingly. In the top of the third, 2-0 Yankees. Man on third for Jeter, who hits a high chopper to third for the infield single. That scores Ichiro Suzuki. The Yankees send a pinch runner in then for Jeter, who gets a great ovation. Tip of the cap for the Fenway faithful. 3-0 Yankees, and the Yankees go on to get the win 9-5. And that means the captain's career is complete. And I got to tell you, I've never been a Yankees fan. Never cheered for the Yankees. Never cheered for Derek Jeter, but you got to respect what he's been able to do.
It was great to see those Red Sox fans honoring him, too.
A great way for him to end his career, absolutely.
We'll be right back with a final check of your weather. Big changes in store toward the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, it'll come as a shock to your system here as we go barreling toward next weekend, which we're all already thinking about next weekend, of course. That's when we see that big cool down. A few showers out there tonight, a few more tomorrow, and then we just warm and nice and calm toward midweek before the changes start to settle in, guys.
Nice and calm. I like that.
At least for a couple of days.
Thanks for joining us. Our next newscast tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. Have a good night.